Hello guys, my name is Jason James. I'd like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, and if you guys are new here, I would like you guys to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and comment down below. Well guys, today's video is 3 tips on how to get out of a situation that you are in. I have 3 tips for you, but there are many different tips for different situations. But my tips are, number 1, if you are having a disagreement with your husband or wife, I have a tip for that. Number 2, if you are having a situation at work with your coworker or boss, I have a tip for that too. Number 3, if you are having a disagreement with your friend, and your really best friend, I have a tip for that too. And if you really want to figure out how to get out of a situation, I want you guys to check out my video that's going to come up right now. If you guys are ready, let's get into the video. Alright, like I said earlier, if you guys are new, I would want you to subscribe and turn on that notification bell and comment down below. Alright, everyone, God bless you. Enjoy the video you're about to see that's going to come up right now. Tip number 1, if you are having a disagreement with your husband or wife, I think I have a tip for you that you might want to use. If you are having a disagreement with your wife or husband, I want you guys to talk about it and figure out why are you having that disagreement about whatever you are having disagreement about. And if that don't work, what I also want you to do is try to separate from each other for a little while. I don't care if it's for a couple of days. I don't care if you go into another room and your husband stays in your room. All I want you to do is just figure out the reason why you are having that disagreement. And then what I want you to do, when you feel comfortable, I want you to go back in the room and talk with your husband or wife, and maybe that will make that relationship better. And if that don't work, what I want you also to try to do is go to a therapist and talk to them separately on why am I having all these arguments all the time with my husband or wife. And that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. And this tip is supposed to help you if you are having trouble at your workplace. Now, if you are having trouble with your boss, right? And he's getting really angry with you. Like he's frustrated with you. And he's telling you to leave. And you yell at him, right? And then I want you to remove yourself from that situation. And then what I want you to do is go to a quiet place in your workplace. And then when you're comfortable, I want you to reconvene with him and just talk to him nicely. Don't yell and just talk to him really nicely. And then if that does not work, ask him if I can go home for the day and try tomorrow. And also tip number 2 second tip on tip number 2, I'm sorry. If you are having the same problem with your coworker, a different problem, I suggest you try the same method on that. And that's tip number 2. Tip number 3. And this tip is, if you are having a problem with your friend, your really, really best friend. Now, this tip is a little bit difficult. Now, I'm going to try to give you some tips about it because it matters on the type of situation that you are having with your friend. Now, if you are having an argument about something that you and your friend had an argument for a long time. Now, if that friend hadn't talked to you in, let's say, months and stuff like that, and let's say they call you up and say, and one day they call you up and they're like, remember when I had that fight with you? Now, I suggest you listen to what they have to say, and then after they're done talking, then you can say your side. But don't interrupt them, because sometimes what they have to say could rekindle your relationship with that friend. Like, let's say you have this really, really nice car and they borrowed it, and they didn't tell you that something was wrong with it. Now, if that happens, you just have to stay calm. Just think of something that you could say that's really nicely, not mean, just really nicely. Just say, okay, I understand. I see where you're coming from. And then, little by little, you can rekindle that relationship with your best friend. And if that does not work, go to your other best friends, because I bet you got some other friends that can give you some other advice. So go to your other best friend and just talk to them about it, and see if they can give you some advice. And then if that don't work, then, and if they're still mad at you, then it's time to cut them off. Because sometimes good friends are not good to keep. Trust me. I know what I'm saying. Good friends are not good to keep. So then you gotta find some other friends, or just hang out with that friend that gave you good advice. So that's my advice for number 3 on if you're having a fight with your best friend. Alright.